Looks like police reform will die in Congress, where the Senate Republicans, of course, are not going to vote in favor of it. And so now there is a area where there's a massive disagreement about qualified immunity. And so the negotiations have completely stalled, and they have they're going to be stalled permanently. That's what the update is. So the House passed the George Floyd Justice and Policing Act in March, and Representative Karen Bass and the Democratic Senator Cory Booker have since been working with the Republican Senator Tim Scott to try to reach a bipartisan agreement on a bill that could pass in the Senate. But as I mentioned, these talks dragged on for months and months and months until everyone kind of forgot about it. And then today it was reported that the talks have just completely stalled. Now, the area of disagreement, of course, is qualified immunity. Qualified immunity, which police currently enjoy, essentially shields them from any civil liability for misconduct. Now, Republicans want to maintain that. They don't want to get rid of that. Democrats want to get rid of that, specifically so police maybe think twice before they open fire and shoot unarmed individuals, because they could be sued by their family members. Now, Cory Booker said, quote, "We made it clear from the beginning of our negotiations that a bill must ensure true accountability, transparency, and the policing standards necessary to bring an end to horrific incidents of violence Americans are routinely seeing, like the murder of George Floyd. After months of exhausting every possible pathway to a bipartisan deal, it remains out of reach now." And you guys are not going to be able to pass anything in a bipartisan way in the Senate unless it's a massive corporate handout bill like the bipartisan infrastructure bill. Unless you're giving corporations handouts, Republicans are not going to play ball. So I'm not really interested in hearing about any piece of legislation that they're working on in the House unless they're actually going to do something about the legislative filibuster in the Senate, because otherwise they're just wasting our time with nonsense negotiations that go nowhere.
Yeah, look, as usual, we have perfect credibility on this because we told you before, months ago. We talked about it in the address to Congress that Biden did. We talked about it several occasions. So that bill's never going to pass. They're never going to get an agreement because the Republicans will not agree. They don't actually want to do criminal justice reform. What they want to do is pretend to be doing criminal justice reform and delay it long enough until they get a Republican president. They're running out the clock. And schmucks like Cory Booker love to try to work with Republicans. Hey, Cory, I got news for you. They don't want to work with you. I don't know when you're going to get that through your thick head. You're really trying to do bipartisanship? Come on, man, this is so stupid. Like, really, is anybody that gullible? Oh, the Republicans, the deeply racist party that ran on the Southern strategy, which the whole point was to get racists to vote for us, and has now built its temple on the racist Donald Trump and worships him. You thought was going to do real police reform? No, come on, man. Seriously, I don't know, man. Either Cory Booker is unintelligent or he just plays these games. And that playing the games is actually more sickening.
It is.
It really is.
And look,
you help run out the clock for the Republicans. Just do something. You have the whole goddamn Congress. Do you care about black people or don't you care about black people? Do you care about justice in this country or don't you? Oh, you can't say that to Cory Booker because he's black. I just said it. I just said it. I can say it and I did say it. Because you're wasting our time working with the Republicans when you know there is no chance that they would do real police reform.
100%. And look, Cory Booker is not dumb. He knows it. He knows it. And this is where I speculate, but I think that this is a good educated guess. I think they're terrified. I think they're terrified of passing police reform and then having Republican lawmakers who are vicious blame the uptick in violent crime on Democrats. That's what they're afraid of.
100%.
So I don't think they genuinely wanted to pass this bill, because here's what happens. When you genuinely want something, you'll stop at nothing to get it passed. And so if that legislative filibuster is standing in the way in the Senate, you're gonna do everything in your power to scrap it.
Guys, look, it's so simple. If I was president, if one of you were president and you actually cared about I'm dying to pass these bills, and you actually cared about it that much, what would you do? You would obviously get rid of the filibuster and you'd pass them all. Okay, oh, well, Manchin and Sinema are a problem on some of the economic issues because of their corporate donors, etc. All right, well, then you put them on blast. And you've got 2 years at least before the midterms to put them on blast and to put enormous pressure on them. Do you know that Kristen Sinema, after she did that theatrical downvote on minimum wage, lost 15 points in Arizona? All you gotta do is put a spotlight on them. They'll be polling at 20% within the month. But oh no, our beloved corporate Democrats, we can't ever touch them. Oh my God, what are the Republicans gonna say about me? I'm so sick of Democrats being cowards. You would pass, if you got rid of the filibuster, you get past criminal justice reform, you'd pass the debt ceiling, no problem, obviously. You'd pass voting rights, you'd pass anti-corruption laws, but they don't want to pass anti-corruption laws. You'd pass a $3.5 trillion actual infrastructure bill, but they don't want to pass that because they work for their donors. That's why we play all these games when Democrats can literally do anything they want right now. And if you were president or I was president, we'd all do this because we actually care. But the Democratic politicians do not care about you. They care about, oh, my donors, my beloved donors giving me millions of dollars. They care so much more about them. That's why you see this stuff. So if you're black in America, they just screwed you. You're gonna keep getting beat by cops. You're gonna keep getting shot by cops because the Democrats said, we care more about the parliamentarian. We care more about Senate tradition of the filibuster, which by the way, was always racist and used to block civil rights for its entire history. We care more about the racist traditions of the Senate than we care about black people, than we care about our own voters, than we care about Americans. That's what all the Democrats are telling you now. Now, to be fair, because we actually care about the facts. To be fair, that's not true. Cori Bush and the progressives insisted on qualified immunity. And by the way, this is part of the theatrics of the Cory Booker crowd to go, oh, can you believe progressives actually wanted to make real change? Now we couldn't get a deal with the Republicans. They were about to do it. They were about to give real police reform, but because Cori Bush and the progressives wanted actual reform, now we can't get fake reform. Good, I'm glad they fought. Keep fighting. And by the way, for all the progressives in Congress, the corporate Democrats are not your friends. They're in league with the Republicans. They're trying to run out the clock on all of us so none of this gets done. Thanks for watching the Young Turks, really appreciate it. Another way to show support is through YouTube memberships. You'll get to interact with us more. There's live chat emojis, badges. You've got emojis of me, Anna, John, JR. So those are super fun. But you also get playback of our exclusive member-only shows and specials right after they air. So all of that, all you gotta do is click that join button right underneath the video. Thank you.